go see the Mardi Gras. If you go to New Orleans, you ought to go see the Mardi Gras. When you see the Mardi Gras, somebody'll tell you what's carnival for.
Brandon Cooks was a workout warrior, but he'd done it on the field as well. So what he did at the Combine only enhanced his stature and his status in the NFL draft and made him more attractive to the New Orleans Saints, and he has a great future in New Orleans. Not only a good player, but a good kid, too. Ken Trahan, sportsNOLAtv. The New Orleans Saints, of course, in the midst of their off-season planning, and it's been very hectic. It's been very busy, so much so that Coach Payton did not even go to the Senior Bowl, and he's working on a number of things, including dealing with free agents. And the Saints entered the free agency period this season with 14 free agents, a large number. 3 of those have been re-signed: Shane Graham, Harris Harrelson, and of course the quarterback, Luke McCown. So they have 11 remaining, including 8 unrestricted free agents: Goodwin, Ingram, Meacham, Dederick, Humber, Foku, Robinson, and Sanford, and 3 restricted in Cadet, Harris, and Walker. So, Brian, as we look at that list, let's go ahead and discuss the list itself on an individual basis. And we start with Mark Ingram because he's probably the biggest ticket item coming off of a good, not great year. He's a solid, not excellent player. He's expendable because of price. They'd like to have him if possible. The question is, will anyone else make him an offer he cannot refuse and the Saints can refuse?
Mark, obviously, Kenny played himself into a good look around the free agent market. Is he a mandatory keep for this team? No. I don't see anybody on that free agent list that's really a mandatory keep, a person that they have to have. Would Mark enhance this backfield? Certainly he would. But you know the way the Saints front office works is they're going to make a concerted effort to sign Mark, make an offer where it fits their budget primarily, and 2, hopefully it will be enough to attract Mark to take, to consider. I would hope this. I would hope that they eventually make an offer, excuse me, to Mark and said, look, you go out, test the market, but give us a chance to match or consider coming back, and we'll see what happens.
Well, I mean, just look at the whole situation as you got to look out there and see what's out there that's better and cheaper. So, I mean, and that's the key to it. I mean, he ran good, but he's a system bike. So what the Saints need, they need to get an all-around bike, you know what I mean? And that's what I like about, you see the team with Seattle and New England, they got bikes that can do multiple things, and that's what happened when the Saints, they come in a situation where people know what they're going to do because they got situation bike, and that's what you need to get away from.
Well, if they can get him at their price, right, they'll have him back. If he gets a substantial offer, they'll let him go. This is the way they've operated with running backs. Keep in mind they signed Tim Hightower, and if he's healthy enough, then he's proven he can play in the league. And they've got Kyrie Robinson, and they've got Pierre Thomas, and they've got Travaris Cadet, a restricted free agent who's on that list. So I think it's all about the offer, Brian. If he gets a good offer, he's gone. If not, he's here.
Right, I agree. And, the way the league now views running backs, their value has been diminished. So what may have happened 4 or 5 years ago, the way, and Denver showed the way, and Sean Payton has done a great job of signing backs who fit his system, Rick. You're exactly right. So, again, I think we're on in agreement here.
Okay, Rick. Jonathan Goodwin, a guy who played not only for the Saints previously, but with the 49ers, and is back with the Saints. Injury-riddled last year, played through it, but longer in the tooth. Do they re-sign him?
No, I mean, it's time to go out and get some bigger, younger, stronger guys. I mean, you got guys coming from Alabama and Wisconsin, those guys that can be Hall of Fame and Pro Bowl down the road. This guy, he gave San Francisco a lot of years. He gave the Saints, a good year. So it's time to move on to get some younger, better players.
Right?
I agree. But, I'm not sure Tim Lolito is the answer. He's not the answer for me necessarily. But I would think that they're going to be looking at a free agent center, a middle-tier guy that they can afford.
You have to look at this with a kind of a jaundiced eye, because if Tim Lolito was that good, why wouldn't he have been in there last year, especially when Goodwin was far less than 100%? Or was it an apprenticeship, and now they've prepared him to be ready? We'll find out, but like you, Brian, I have some doubts about that. Patrick Robinson, another name on that list, a #1 pick who hasn't played like it. But I guess the big question here, Ricky, is whether or not they have any better options, because if they don't, then they have to bring him back, and if they do, then they let him go.
I mean, you got a lot of free agent guys out there that you can get that, you know, salary-wise, capable of doing the same thing him, and probably a little better than he. So, you know what I mean? I think this might be his last go-round.
I agree, Ricky. Injury problems with Patrick, and he just hasn't lived up to his top draft choice status.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's all likely that he will not be back. I wouldn't write him off completely. But again, what are your options? You have to make sure you have them based upon what he would be paid. I think he's gone. The other veteran player on that list is Robert Meacham. Great guy in the locker room, really pleasant person. He blocks well, but unfortunately, Ricky, it looks like his best receiving days are behind him.
Oh, man, he was cut last year, and they bring him back, you know what I mean? So anytime a veteran get cut and they bring him back to a team, that means that, you know, they search it. So, I mean, I think his days is number at the Saints, too.
And, you know, and Robert will, if he doesn't come back here, he'll be around. There is one player, and I hope we talk just briefly, Ramon Humber. Of the group, okay, I don't want to see a Jolan Dunbar. I liked Dunbar years ago, okay, and I thought that they should have brought him back. I think you should bring Ramon back. He's a great reserve linebacker.
Well, he's a fast guy. He's good in space at linebacker, not as great at the point of attack. But in addition to that, he's good on special teams.
Right.
The other guys, Foku, you know, won't matter.
Right.
Sanford probably gone, especially with the injuries at safety and guys coming back. Dederick, give or take, right?
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I don't see, Ricky, anybody that is mandatory that you've got to have back on this roster.
Yeah, and of the restricted guys, Ricky, Tyron Walker, they'd like to have him. He's a body who fills some gaps for them and plays some downs. Of course, Bryce Harris, you know, he's okay, but is he really what you want in that swing backup guy? And Travaris Cadet, to me, a disappointment.
Well, I mean, what the Saints trying to get to now, they need to try to get back to the Super Bowl. So you need to get better players all around. Those guys that, you know, you got on that list, they're not going to take you to the Super Bowl.
All right, now the Saints, of course, finally announcing their changes on their coaching staff, many of which we kind of knew about from other sources over time, but they finally put out something, and here are the changes. Dennis Allen, he'll do something on defense. We know that. John Morton is the new wide receivers coach. Joel Thomas, the running backs coach. James Willis, defensive assistant linebacker coach. Kyle Devon is the offensive assistant. Greg Lewis, offensive assistant. And Brendan Nugent, coaching assistant. Brian, one of the common denominators here is youth. They've gone younger with their staff.
They really haven't. And I think, of course, Dennis Allen is the bell cow of those group of coaches they brought in. I'm going to give Sean Payton the benefit of the doubt here, Ricky. Sean has all the years here has surrounded him with quality assistant coaches. I'm assuming he's done the same thing here.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you bring Dennis back, but you also got Rob in there too. So, I mean, you just got to make sure that them guys can work together and don't butt heads, and that's going to be the key to it.
You know, one of the key things I think for us is, as a media, is that what are Dennis's responsibilities? I don't know if we'll ever know specifically, okay? But I promise you this, Rob Ryan knows.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Rob, like his daddy buddy, you know,
Yeah.
they're fiery guys. So,
Yeah.
I mean, just like his brother. I mean, they want to be, you know, best defensive coach out. So you don't want nobody getting in your way and interfering with that. You want to be all on you or somebody else. You don't want to have it to where we doing bad, now you point fingers at me when it ain't on me. So that's a tough situation.
I think you have to look at what the Saints have done over the last 3 years. Because 2012, the Saints didn't have Sean Payton, but let's not forget they were 7-9.
Yeah.
And what was their record this past year? 7-9. So as a result, 2 of the last 3 seasons were losing seasons. Maybe the aberration was 2013 in retrospect, and as a result, they needed to kick the tires and reevaluate and say we need some fresh blood here.
Absolutely, and I think it's essential. Ricky, I'm curious what your feelings are as a player. I would assume that the defensive group is going to know who is in charge of the unit, right? Won't they know that? Won't they know that either Rob Ryan is the coordinator or Dennis Allen is calling the shots? I'm sure that they've got to have that defined to them.
Well, you can't really tell, you know what I mean? It'll get to where it'll be game time where you can really tell. You know, in practice, you can't really tell because one thing about coaches, they let everybody run free in practice and stuff, but game time, when the bolts tighten up, then you'll tell the difference.
All right, if you are in the market for a new Dodge, then we've got the answer for you. The Rams, the Jeeps, the Chryslers, the Dodges, the New Orleans, then you need to go to Premier. It's the place for you. At Premier, they serve all of your automotive needs with a high degree of expertise. Check out Premier's expansive inventory, President's Day deals, and incentives visit the dealership today. You can always check out the website at PremierChryslerJeepDodge.com. Back to talk NFL when we return on Sports NOLA TV on WHNO TV 20.